English translations. So, and that only happened because I went to the CEO and spoke with her.
Yeah, definitely taking initiative. That's one of the things I would agree with, definitely for that, because, you know, you're coming into this internship and you may have done an interview for a half hour with them beforehand, but they really don't know what you're capable of. And so you may have these skills that you think you can really help their company. And that's certainly an excellent thing to do, is to take initiative, go up to them, show them what you can do. So. And Kate, did you have?
Yeah, basically what everyone else was saying. I think that just like being open-minded and kind of open to like, I guess being like a little bit uncomfortable was a big skill that helped me there. And I definitely like developed it, just like being put in situations where I like wasn't really sure what to do, but just kind of like talking through it with myself and communicating with my coworkers, and just like, I guess, yeah, being open to do like whatever they ask you to do, as well as just like communicating with them and like getting to know your coworkers and like being social with the people you're working with.
Sure. Great, thank you. Let's see, the next question is, how have you changed since studying and interning abroad? Zia, do you want to start?
Yes. Well, overall, just being abroad in a place like China, it definitely widened my horizons and changed my perspective on just everything as a whole. I think that one of the big things that I took from interning there was just like my professionalism, how to communicate better, how to be open-minded, how to be more understanding, and just how to work in that kind of environment. Being in a law firm, it was my first time being in that type of setting, and I was unsure on how to act and just, you know, what to do, what's going to be expected of me. And I think that one thing I took from that was just my mentor being so helpful, and I was actually able to have one-on-one time with her a lot of the time that I was there, and she was able to sit down and really talk to me and explain to me what she did and things that may be expected of me once I got into my career. So I think just overall, it really just helped me understand what I wanted to do after school and what I was getting myself into.
That's awesome. Anybody else want to chime in?
I think that for me, I definitely like my career plans have changed, because after living in China, like 100%, I want to move back there when I graduate. And I'm currently like looking at different companies and different ways that I can find a way to get back there, especially to Chengdu, because I loved it so much. But also I think that like the biggest change that I've seen in myself is like my independence. I had to learn how to do like a lot of things on my own without like really the help of like my friends and family, like especially when I moved there. Like I had, you know, obviously the G-MEO personnel was like amazing and incredible and helpful, and the people I was with were also really amazing. But for me, like I had to learn how to just kind of figure things out for myself, and it helped me like grow up a lot, because I mean, like you're in another country away from your parents, especially for me being gone for 6 months, and it just kind of like helped me solidify like who I was and become like a stronger, like more independent person who doesn't really like rely on others. Like I got really comfortable with like figuring out situations that like previously I would have like run to someone else for help, but I just kind of learned how to like be confident in my skills and just, you know, be independent.
Sure.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of what Kate said, that's definitely like a huge thing that you take from studying abroad. Being put in such a different and like uncomfortable environment, initially you may feel that you're like, you have lack of resources and you don't really know much and you're not really going to be able to get around and do different things, but you really learn how to like handle like she said, handle certain situations on your own, how to get around on your own, how to make the best of like what you have and the resources that you have.
Yeah, I agree with Kate on the career aspect. So Stevens is right across from New York City, and I'm currently in finance. So most people go into the city to intern and get jobs in the financial fields. But after spending the summer in Chengdu, I definitely have been looking at more abroad options and even other U.S. cities instead of staying in New York because I found like a love for traveling and trying new things when I was out there. So definitely, like Kate, like I would want to go back to Chengdu. I'd want to go to China for long periods of time. That's very different than how I was coming to college. I was just focused on New York.
Thanks. And Alfredo, I know you're currently in a job, so you've graduated. What have you taken from studying interning abroad?
I'd say like I actually a lot more confidence with my work. Like actually being able to show that like I was able to work in a very different environment, like more personally, and like now like having the confidence to be like, hey, like I can actually do like one of these bigger projects and just kind of like a big confidence boost and like a bit of like I don't know, it helped me a lot in business, like trying to get the job and a bit of personal growth. You guys touch a lot of the points that I wanted to talk about, so I don't have much to add to it.
Yeah, quite the transformative experience, I think, across the board. Whether you're doing a full 6 months or you're there for 10 weeks. And if you could do it again, what would you tell yourself before you go? What was something you wish you had known?
More Chinese.
More Chinese?
Yeah, I would have started studying a year in advance if I knew how helpful it would be once I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
There isn't a language requirement for us, but certainly the more Chinese you know, the more helpful it's going to be that you'll be able to communicate with your coworkers.
Yeah, I think like another thing that I would tell myself is just like, I guess like if I could do it again at the beginning, I'd just be like, I guess, I don't know how to say this, but like I wish I could tell myself like how much I loved it at the end, because like it was definitely like quite the adjustment moving there. Like, I mean, it's like a whole different like country, language, you're around whole new people, and I definitely like had a hard time at first and I missed home a lot. And I just wish I could go back and like slap myself in the face and be like, Kate, like just enjoy the time that you have here, because like when I had to leave, I like there was not one single part of me that wanted to go. Like I wanted to just stay and live in China. Like I did not want to leave whatsoever. And I wish I'd like going in, I knew that would be the outcome, because then I feel like I would have taken advantage and like done a lot more opportunities at the beginning that I kind of missed out on because I was like I was just a little bit uncomfortable with like, you know, the language barrier and everything like that.
I think making a bucket list would have helped me, like putting in some more research, because I kind of went out there and winged it, and I got to do a lot of great things because I went into it just knowing that I want to try everything I want to try. But if I was more organized, I guess I could have went and saw more sites and had more experiences that I would have looked back on and enjoyed.
Got it.
I would have honestly told myself, stay for 6 months, because 10 weeks were definitely not enough to like really fully enjoy the whole city. There's just so much to see there, and like just a very, very nice experience. And honestly, to not hesitate so much in making a decision. It's a big decision, but it was so worth it in the end.
Awesome. Zia, are you off mute now?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say definitely be more mindful of my surroundings and places that I could go and visit and plan them. I think one of the things that I was kind of upset that I didn't get to do was to visit the Great Wall and go to Shanghai and just travel a little bit more, because I just wasn't aware and didn't plan to do those things before I came there. That's mostly it. I think that maybe, you know, learning a little bit of beginner's Chinese before coming, organizing myself a little bit better, preparing myself a bit more could have helped. But overall, I think just planning to travel and learning more about the city before actually getting there would have helped me a lot.
Got it. Great advice, all of you. I mean, it's once you're there, you don't realize how quickly it flies by, and by the end, you realize, wow, I've done all this, and there's so much more to do. So, so what is one thing in Chengdu that you definitely can't miss? What's your hidden gem?
Nightlife. I mean, just for the fact of like making local friends, that was definitely a big factor of my trip. I made a lot of friends that I'm actually still in contact with today. Video chat on WeChat, we catch up. The city's very young and very lively. So going out, like I made most of my friends on the basketball court right across from the center. And then that turned into us going out at night, going to restaurants. They're showing me all the local cuisine. That's definitely something like I highly recommend making a local group of friends who aren't in the program so that you can kind of match up Americans with the locals and go out and have fun.
Nice.
I'd say a very good spot that really shouldn't be missed in Chengdu. Well, near Chengdu would be Mount Eme.
Yeah.
It's about a 45-minute train ride there. And you can just spend hours upon hours up in the mountain exploring it. And like the nature, like honestly, like it's some of the most beautiful landscapes I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
I really, really highly recommend it.
Awesome.
It's a bit of a trip. It takes a couple days, but a full weekend, like it's more than enough to go to Leshan, seeing the Buddha, and going up in the mountains in Mount Eme and making your way to the top.
Nice. What about you, Kate?
Honestly, I think my favorite parts are just like one of my favorite things to do is just kind of go out and explore, like take the metro, take the bus with some friends and just kind of like go and see the city. Like I obviously like Chunchi Road and Tianfu Square and like the big places of Chengdu that you're gonna go to are pretty incredible, but just like there's so many small stores and places and like experiences that you can kind of get to do when you're there. And then one thing that I really enjoyed was I got in contact with a couple of expat communities when I was there. And I met some expats who like were involved in like this program called Panda and like a whole bunch of other ones that like did fun activities like go-karting and like laser tag and stuff like that, where it was just like getting involved with the expat community kind of gives you like a little bit of a sense of home because they are also all people who've like moved to China and understand where you're coming from. And they also have like really good recommendations of like places to go, places to eat, especially like American restaurants. But yeah, just like, I guess, exploring.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Zia?
One thing that I would say not to miss out on is when you talk to the buddies and the locals. Some of us, I know, like my peers and myself, we were fortunate enough to have them take us to like their hometowns, and some of them didn't go to school near us, so we got to visit their campuses, and they got to take us to different stores that they like, places they like to eat. So that was one thing that like I feel like you shouldn't miss out on. So when you make friends, you should definitely, talk to them, get to know them, and, see if they will take you to, where they live and get to know them a little bit better. Also, one place that I visited that I really enjoyed was the Global Center. I was kind of upset because I didn't get a chance to visit the whole building, but it has a water park. It has a lot of different stores, places to eat, things like that. That was one major part of my trip, is visiting the Global Center.
Yeah, the water park, I definitely recommend planning like a half day to go. They have an ice skating ring, movie theater, and the water park is massive. Sometimes you can't even tell that you're inside a building. And if you go with like a big group, it's cheaper than most water parks here, and it's definitely better quality and they have like a beach, a wave pool, and you're also like inside a massive building that you could just go grab lunch, come back. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, that's one of the largest buildings in the world by square feet. It's pretty incredible. So I'm gonna open it up to the Q&A section. We have about 6 minutes left before I go. Before we get cut off on it, I want to make sure that everyone here, if you do want to apply to a summer or a 2020 program, whether it's semester or summer, again, the spring semester is still open, and summer is too. You can get the early bird discount. But I can see who has come to the webinar tonight, so I'll make sure to waive your application fee if you end up applying by the end of October. But at this time, I'm going to open it up to the chat if people want to type in their questions for our alumni. So, and if you don't have questions right now or you can't think of something, feel free to also just email me directly, and I can also put you in touch with one of the alumni here.
I just want to say something real quick.
Please.
I think if any of you guys are considering doing the 3+3 or like are debating whether doing like the summer or the spring, like I 110% like wholeheartedly say like do the 3+3 because almost all my friends when they left in the spring, they're like, I don't want to go, like I haven't had enough time here. And I really felt that like having 6 months, like after 3 months, I was just kind of like solidifying like my place in the country. And after 6 months, like China was my home. Like I knew how to get around. I didn't need to use maps. I understood the language. I could order food. Like I would really recommend, although 6 months may seem like kind of like a big commitment, like 100%, I would go back and do a year or two if I had the option. Like I really loved it.
Also, going off that kind of, for any of you that are interested in doing business or technology related jobs, a lot of businesses are going to China, and so far with most of my calls and interviews that I've been doing, every single one has been a major talking point about my time in China and what people here, they envy it. They think that you can definitely help their company in unique ways, just because once you go over there, you're going to realize how different things are, and being able to play both sides of the field is very, very impressive back here in America.
Thank you. We have 2 questions. The first one is, what was the interview process like for the internships you applied to? Maybe for the spring students, if you can answer that, since I know Sophie is interested in spring. And could I hear more about the internship with the law firm from Zia?
Okay. I guess I'll go first.
3 minutes left.
So really quick to give like a brief overview of the law firm. It's a business law firm. So you'll be learning a lot about companies and stock holding, different things in that nature. My mentor, Jane, she was very helpful. You get a lot of one-on-one time with her. And she's very interested in learning about the way that we do things over here, Americans' business legal system. She's interested in learning about you just as much as you're interested in learning about her and the culture over there. Even if you're not interested in business law, it's still a really good opportunity to like be there. Because it just gets you that head start and gets you an idea of what a law firm is like and what you may or may not be doing, things like that. So it was very interesting. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to have one-on-one time with her for her to really sit down and break down things with me. If you want to hear more, since we are like limited on time, you can always contact me, and I can actually give you more detail on what I did and the things that she talked to me about and what I learned.
And for those who are in the spring semester, what was the interview process like when you arrived?
For me, I think I interviewed like my third day there, which was definitely kind of stressful, but it was really relaxed. Like I walked in, the guy I met with, my supervisor in my internship, was so nice. He was like so welcoming and understanding and like interested as to why why I chose China and stuff like that. And I was not like, I did not feel pressure whatsoever. It was like very relaxed interview, and I wouldn't really worry about that much if I were you. Just be prepared as to like what your skills are and what you can bring to the company, and then just like be open to talking to them because they're always interested in hearing from you.
Thank you.
Is anyone interviewing for a summer session or no? Because I know I did that before going there.
Yeah, you can talk about that. We have about a minute left, and I think there are some people who would be interested in that.
So basically, you send your resume to the company, and they look it over. And once you're matched with the company, they schedule a call similar to this one with you and maybe one or two people at the company, where you basically go through your resume, talk about your experiences, and then my roommate was doing data analysis. So he got a technical question, which involved some coding. But for me, it was just explaining my knowledge of financial analysis, what programming languages I learned, and any experience I had in business prior, and also why I wanted to China, all the typical questions on why I chose Chengdu.
Awesome.
It's also really relaxed.
Cool. Well, thank you so much to our alumni, and thank you to those who are interested in the program. If you have additional questions, please reach out. And I hope you have a wonderful evening and look forward to having you in Chengdu.